தமிழ் பேசும் அனைத்து நல்லுள்ளங்களுக்கும் வணக்கம். ரீசெண்டாக என்னுடைய இன்டர்வியூ பிபிசி கார்டனர்ஸ் வேர்ல்ட் டிவி ப்ரோக்ராமில் வந்திருந்தது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி உங்களோட ஷேர் பண்ணியிருந்தேன். நிறைய பேர் அதுக்கு வாழ்த்துக்கள் தெரிவிச்சிருந்தீங்க. மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி, ரொம்ப நன்றி. அதை தொடர்ந்து நான் யூகேயில் இருக்க சிட்டியான ஷெஃபீல்ட் சிட்டியில் இருக்க பிபிசி ரேடியோவிலேருந்து கால் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க ஒரு மிட் மார்னிங் ஷோக்கு என்னுடைய இன்டர்வியூக்காக. அதில் என்னுடைய பிபிசி கார்டனர்ஸ் வேர்ல்ட் டிவி ப்ரோக்ராமில் வந்ததுடைய அனுபவங்கள், அதுக்கப்புறம் என்னுடைய கார்டனிங் பேஷன் பற்றி, அப்புறம் என்னுடைய லேண்ட்ஸ்கேப் கரியர் பற்றி, அதுக்கப்புறம் லிசனர்ஸ்க்கு வந்துட்டு ஏதாச்சும் கார்டனிங் டிப்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரியெல்லாம் சொல்லி பேசுகிறதுக்காக கூப்பிட்ருந்தாங்க ஒரு லைவ் ஷோக்கு. அதுக்காக லாஸ்ட் டியூஸ்டே மார்னிங் போயிருந்தேன், அதாவது 26th அன்னைக்கு. ஸோ ஹோஸ்ட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டு ஒரு சின்னதாக ஒரு பிளான்ட் வந்து கிஃப்டாக ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணியிருந்தேன். அவங்களுக்கும் ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. ஸோ சில பிக்சர்ஸ்லாம் அங்கே எடுத்தோம். அந்த பிக்சர்ஸ் அதுக்கப்புறம் அதோடைய ரெக்கார்டிங்ஸ் வந்து இந்த வீடியோவில் வந்து அட்டாச் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். கண்டிப்பாக கேட்டு பாருங்கள், ரொம்பவே இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்காக இருக்கும். நம்மளுடைய சேனல் நீங்கள் புதுசாக பார்க்குறீங்க அப்படின்னா, இல்லை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாமல் பார்த்துட்ருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பாக சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிவிட்டு பாருங்கள். உங்களுடைய சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன்ஸ் எனக்கு ரொம்பவே மோட்டிவேட்டிங்காக இருக்கும். இந்த ரேடியோ ரெக்கார்டிங் வந்து நான் கரெக்டாக என்னுடைய போர்ஷன் மட்டும் எடிட் பண்ணி அது மட்டும் வச்சுருக்கேன். ஸோ கேட்டு பாருங்கள். தேங்க்ஸ் ஃபார் வாட்சிங்.
So I've got a guest coming up, Gokul Asokan. He's from Sheffield, and he says you can be a gardener even if you haven't got a garden. You may have seen him on Gardener's World recently talking about plants and gardening in small spaces. He's going to tell us what he knows shortly. BBC Radio Sheffield with Stevie Wonder. Well, my guest has been ever so kind to me and giving me plants at the moment, which is really lovely. They're beautiful and we're going to talk about them in just a bit. And it's always a bit of a delight to get more tips and ideas to make your outdoor space, no matter how small, better. And someone who could help us with that is landscape architect Gokul Asokan from Sheffield, who you might have seen on Gardener's World recently.
I don't have a garden, but I have gardens. I like to grow anywhere and everywhere.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So Gokul is here and he's just brought me in some gifts, and I want to talk about these gifts before we go any further, because these are actually featured in the episode of Gardener's World. You're from Netheredge.
Yeah.
You live there. Well, you live there now. You're not originally from Netheredge, but these plants, I've never seen them before. Do you want to just describe them to me and tell me what they are before we go any further?
So this is the plant called Oxalis balconicola, and it produces little tiny yellow flowers. And the best part about this is like you can grow them in indoors and as well as in the outdoors as a bedding plant from spring to autumn. And during the winter months you can just grow them in indoors, and they're really easy to propagate. You can gift your friends.
Nice. Well, they're not having these two because I'm keeping these because you've given me these, but obviously be very... I might put one actually in the office because it would survive in the office, wouldn't it? So one of the wonderful things you said in the clip on Gardener's World was that you don't have a garden, but you have gardens. What do you mean by that, Gokul?
So I really don't have a dedicated garden myself, like a ground space like usually the people have in backyard or the front yard. But I just grow everywhere I can find space, like patio space, windowsills, indoors, wherever I can possibly get sunlight. So you can just grow anywhere and everywhere,
inside and outside. It's just beautiful. Your gardens are beautiful. What got you into gardening in the first place? I understand you were quite young when you started.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So when I was 5, my friend, who is my classmate, he gifted me a Portulaca afro plant, which is really a nice colorful plant. It produces tiny flowers in various colors, and that was the first time I was into planting. So that gave me a sort of sense into gardening. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you say, listening to that whole discussion you were having, beautiful discussion on Gardener's World, you said that gardening was a coping mechanism for you. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so gardening is really a coping mechanism. Even the nature is coping mechanism for me, because when you're feeling depressed with various reasons, work pressure or anything like family issues or whatever, when you go and spend time with nature or the gardening, it's so rewarding. It tends to motivates you from your depression instead of having a substance abuse.
Right, so that you can focus yourself on green and on growing. Is it nice then? Because I noticed as well that you find ways, people have got big gardens, can have greenhouses and lots of ways of propagating their plants. You do a lot of propagating, and you have an example, what is it? Not an example, but a way of having a greenhouse in your own setup, don't you?
Yeah, so you can easily propagate loads of plants from cuttings or just from seeds or whatever. But when you without greenhouse, you can just do it in a plastic container. The basic idea is to just hold the moisture for the plants to develop its roots. So putting the plant cuttings inside the plastic container makes that a kind of environment like where you get from greenhouse. So just plastic bag or just a container which is closed would perfectly do well.
Wonderful. So you like your plants and you do some landscaping, but you're an architect.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go into gardening then as your main job?
Exactly. So that's really a great question. So the thing is, like, in India, we are really not appreciative for doing gardening. People take it for granted because everything grows in every time, because we have that kind of climatic conditions. And also, it is not well-known career opportunities like you have in the UK. So that is what made me more difficult to choose my career in early stages. So I went into architecture, and then I came to know about landscape architecture. So where you do planting design, you do outdoor gardening, parks and things like that with nature, habitat creation for supporting wildlife and nature. So I thought to mold my career into landscape architecture, where I can just enjoy my passion for gardening and nature.
Wonderful. I liked, before we're going to have a little bit of a music and then we're going to come back, you on this Wonderful Garden as Well episode had a lilac rose. I don't think I've ever seen a rose more beautiful. Where did that come from then?
Oh, yeah, that's really my favorite rose, one of my favorite. So I got it from a local rose shop. It's called Hanley Rose Nursery. It's in Sheffield, and if you're people from Sheffield and you wanted to grow roses, it's really a great place to visit. It's a family-owned nursery by a lovely lady. She's very knowledgeable and she can suggest you whatever rose plants you need. So I got it from there a few months ago. It's called I think it's called Coco Loco. So it's kind of like a lilac shade. It's really beautiful color, very unusual for rose.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a plant that colour before. It was absolutely stunning. I'm talking to landscape architect Gokul Asakan, who reckons we don't need a garden to be a gardener. That's what you're saying, isn't it? We're going to talk a bit more about this. And if you're somebody who hasn't got any plants in your life, you haven't got a garden, and you'd like to get a little bit of help to support the greenery in your life, you can get in touch, and I'm sure that you'd be up for answering questions, Gokul, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
0800 111 4949.
On BBC Sounds, I'm Inez Gallagher, Noel's daughter, Liam's niece.
It's BBC Radio Sheffield. You're listening to Paulette. I'm having a right chat with a gentleman who is keen, a really keen gardener, and he says you don't have to have a garden to be a gardener. He's landscape architect Gokul Asakan, and he is from Sheffield, and he has been on Garden as Well. We heard him and saw him on Garden as Well with his lovely plants, his lovely flowers. No garden, a patio area, and inside your house is where you do your gardening. Absolutely beautiful. I loved it because it made me just think there are so many of us, because when I was little I was brought up in a house, my parents' first house. There was nowhere to garden at all, and our next door neighbours had made a little garden, so they had a few little flowers, and I thought, when I grow up I want a house with a garden, I want to put my own garden. But we had plants in the house. That was always part of what my mum made sure happened. Can we talk a little bit more about how you went from being in India? So you studied in India,
yeah,
and then you moved to what brought you to Sheffield then? Let's ask that question.
So I just came here with my cousins and my dad. So my dad was here already, so I thought to stay along with him, which should be very easy. But then at some point I thought to go to London, but London was quite busy for me. So I thought to be in Sheffield. Sheffield is really a nice city. It felt home for me. So from then on, I've been in Sheffield, and I was doing a part-time work as well in a barge shop in Hagler's Corner on Queen's Road.
Yeah, this is where I think I've seen you, because you did look familiar when I saw you on the telly. I thought, I know him from somewhere.
Cool.
So you like Sheffield, you prefer it to London then? How long were you in London for then?
So I was there for just a couple of months, but I didn't like it, to be honest. So I just moved back to Sheffield. I thought to do my college from here, moving from here to there, but it was quite hectic for me. But I just loved to be here in Sheffield, and I was also working in the body shop, so it was quite convenient for me.
Yeah, I get to know a lot of people, because people are friendly in Sheffield, aren't they?
Really, they are amazing.
Nosy mainly. It's nosy, but it kind of becomes friendly as well. Curious,
yes, exactly.
Which is lovely. But you're working now, so what are you doing now then?
So at the moment I work for a London-based landscape company, and they have a office in Manchester as well, so I commute to Manchester and still happily having my time in Sheffield.
Yeah, so you won't live in Manchester either?
No,
Sheffield. We'll keep here. Sheffield. So you do some volunteering on Abbeydale Road. What's that then? What do you do?
So there were a collective group of people called Abbeydale Street Tree. So we find nice places to plant some street trees, and also some pocket parks and stuffs like that. And we have created a pocket park in Abbeydale Road near Tesco, and also some hedgerows and tree planting in various locations on Abbeydale Road.
So basically, wherever you can get a plant in, you will put it there.
Exactly.
Is that what's happening? Are you a bit like my mum? My mum used to walk past someone's garden, or mainly not just gardens, but areas where there were plants, and she'd take a fancy to something, snip a bit off, take it home and propagate it. Have you done that?
Yeah, I've done that as well. So next to my house there was a shop, and they have a really nice rose. I can't remember what the rose name was, but it's a climbing white color rose.
Don't say too much, because you might get yourself into trouble.
Oh.
Yeah. So don't get yourself into. So you just snipped. Is it easy to propagate a rose then?
Yeah, it is really easy. You just need to take a pencil thickness cutting of that year's growth, so that they are very more easy to
growth. I see.
So they are very more easy to root well than the previous year's growth. So just take a pencil thickness cutting, and then the soil has to be quite porous, not fully compost, but then the compost and the horticultural sand or perlite or something to make the soil more porous and oxygenated, so that the roots can grow, establish very well.
Oh, so exciting.
Easy.
Yeah, you make it sound so easy. Because my mum, we saw my mum's house a couple of years ago because I lost her, and she went to a gardening centre. My mum always used to go to the section where the plants were dying, and she'd get a plant for 50p, take it home, and we had this big rose bush, big red, beautiful red, the most beautiful red you can think of, red roses. All people used to walk by and snip them. We'd see them doing that as well, and I wanted to take that plant with me to my house, obviously in memory of my mum, and I couldn't propagate it, so maybe I need your help with that.
Oh yeah, just maybe
fresh growth.
Yeah, you have to do that year's growth, not the older one.
Right. Okay.
And
then
the springtime is better.
Okay, to do that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm thinking of all this, I'm going to do it. And sustainability is a big part of what you believe in and you're passionate about. How does that work for you then? How do you make sure that you keep your hands on that?
Yeah, as a landscape architect, that is what we really, really try to practice in most of our designs and design approach and everything. And that is what I do in my daily day-to-day life as well. Less plastic, as much as you can. Even in the gardening, I do the sustainable things. So when the plants are not being sold, they are being dumped to the waste, and even the pots, the plastic pots and everything goes. Some cases they are recycled, but mostly they goes for the waste. So what I did with my gardening is, like, most of my containers, the pots that I grow are from the bouquet shops. So those containers are being binned, especially where my dad works. So I thought to ask him to collect those plastic containers and drill the hole in it and just use it for my plants, and they're happy.
All right.
Yeah,
so
and it saves money.
It's like, you're spending hardly anything. You're nicking plants and using your dad's stuff too. I mean, obviously, I'm over egging that. For you then, just that people might be listening and thinking, I wouldn't mind a bit more of a garden on my patio. I haven't got the garden that I'd like. You say they can still be gardeners. How would they start that then, would you you say? Go ahead.
Right. So if they don't have any outdoor space at all, then just try to grow in your windowsill. You can just put a small table next to your window and then start growing a lot of indoor tropical plants. They love that conditions, not too warm, not too cold, so they prefer that kind of indoor environment that we prefer to live. So monsteros, philodendrons, spidergrass, those small plants, they are really great in indoors. They can grow, they can enjoy sort of nature inside their house.
Wonderful, so beautiful, wonderful. Going to be on the telly again then at some point? Will you be on our screens again soon?
Yeah, I would really love to be a presenter one day. That is what I'm hoping for. But yeah, that's one sort of thing. But I wanted to be featured as landscape architect in a larger level as well, to show how we could create a more wildlife habitat with where the urban wildlife and the people can live in the same place with harmony.
Yeah, we love a bit of green, don't we? It's lovely. What a treat to meet you. Thank you so much. Landscape architect Gokul Asakan from Sheffield. And you can catch, you can have a look at episode 21. That's the one that you're in, isn't it? Episode 21 of the current series of Gardener's World on BBC iPlayer. And you're there strutting your stuff. Did you like what you saw when you watched yourself back?
Yeah, I was quite nervous how it's going to come back, but after the final edits, I was really, really happy. It just came out really good.
Lovely. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming in as well. And thank you for the plants. That's so kind of you.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you so much, Paulette.
Sheffield. Thank you. Lovely. What a lovely conversation. You can get in touch and tell me about the plants you've got in your garden, or the plants that you've put on windowsills, or wherever you get a little bit of light and you want a bit of green. 0800 111 49 49.